Hey everybody, TYT Sports locked out here in Culver City, California. Rick Strahm with you. It was announced today that Tyrann Mathieu, the star-studded cornerback for Louisiana State University, has been kicked off the football team. The reason being was because of repeated violations of the substance abuse policy. Now, Joe Schad of ESPN said that sources told him he has been looking for a new place to play. He was kicked off the team just this morning, this Friday morning. He had been practicing with the team ever since. And again, there are 3 weeks until the season starts. Now again, he's going into his junior year. He has 2 years of eligibility left, and he has a history of failed drug tests. He even sat out one game last year for failing a drug test. Now, sources told ESPN he had been in counseling, and the Louisiana State University policy is that a player is dismissed if failed for 3 drug tests. Mark Schleybaugh of ESPN.com wrote this, which I found very interesting and wanted to share with you guys. If you know anything about Mathieu's past, his dismissal might not come as much of a surprise. He was largely raised by his grandparents and later an uncle. His mother has battled drug addiction throughout her life, and his biological father has spent most of his adult life in prison. LSU afforded Mathieu an opportunity to outrun his past, but he failed to take advantage. Now again, he can transfer to a 1AA or FCS school and not sit out for 1 year. NOLA.com was quoted as saying, or wrote, that their sources say Tyrann Mathieu is considering McNeese State, Jackson State, and Prairie View A&M. He can transfer to another school, but he must sit out 1 year. He led the team with 76 tackles last season, third in the FBS in punt return yards, in which he had 2 touchdowns off of punt returns, 4 total, 2 interceptions, 6 forced fumbles, recovered 4 of them, 7.5 tackles for loss, finished 5th in the Heisman voting. SEC Defensive Player of the Year, awarded the nation's best defensive player in 26 career games at LSU. He forced 14 turnovers, holds the LSU record for forced fumbles with 11, third in recoveries with 8, and LSU won the SEC championship last season, and then they played Alabama, in which A.J. McCarron showed many of the Honey Badgers' flaws in the national championship game, in which they were shut out 21-0. LSU #1 going into the season. Their athletic director, this was interesting, was quoted as saying this was just a team policy, not going to confirm or deny either way. The policy is a written policy. It's like the speed limit. If you're going over the speed limit, you're breaking the law. He's been over the speed limit, as in he's been over it a lot. We do everything we can to help these kids. He's had help, and we've been trying to help him all along in everything. Being an athlete is a privilege. You have to follow the rules to take advantage of that privilege, and unfortunately, he doesn't have that privilege here anymore. He's a good kid. He really is a good kid. It's a shame. But I told him this morning that he has the rest of his life. His life is still ahead of him. He still has an opportunity to do good things. Les Miles was quoted as saying in his press conference, "We extended ourselves personally and professionally to him. He has really improved and has a chance to take some steps as a person. I complied and agreed that it was right. We'll miss the guy. The football team's got to go on. We'll have to fill the void. I can't imagine he would be here and not want to transfer and go play football. We will help him in every way we can." Now, Louisiana State's cornerbacks, remember, no Morris Claiborne because he was drafted in the first round. The Wonderlic man, Morris Claiborne, drafted in the first round by the Dallas Cowboys. They have Thurald Simon, who is a junior and was also suspended for 1 game for a positive test of synthetic marijuana, along with Tyrann Mathieu. They have redshirt freshman Jalen Collins, true freshman Jalen Mills, and at punt returner possibly will be Odell Beckman Jr. So again, today announced Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, an absolutely star player for Louisiana State, could change the game with 1 punt return, 1 play, simply absolutely entertaining to watch, dismissed from the team for violating their substance abuse policy. So you can let me know your thoughts on all this. I want to hear from Tigers Nation. I want to hear what your thoughts are on this. You can tweet those at me, at Rick Strahm. You could also follow me on there. Our Facebook page is in the description below. Leave your comments in the comments section below. Don't be afraid to tweet, like, and share this video. And also, please do us a favor. Support what we're doing here. Keep coming back for college football coverage, and subscribe to TYT Sports.